Hello, this is Kim Patrick Kabza. Today I'm going to show you how to use Sparksfly Routines. Routines are a way to organize your personal or business interests, pulling from all of your social networks into one social experience. First, I'm going to show you how to set up a routine, and then I'm going to show you some of the routines that I use in my personal life. So first of all, in setting up a routine, on the left-hand side of your screen, you just say plus add new. It's exactly the same process that you would use to edit a routine, so I'm going to use that for a second, and then use one of my routines as an example to be able to illustrate this. And specifically, I'm going to use the company General Electric. Here it is. And the reason I want to use General Electric is because they're very active in the social networks, so they have multiple corporate accounts, and then individual leaders within General Electric also have personal accounts. So you start by using the title General Electric, and you would put that in. Then you identify the networks that you're going to pull from. In this case, I'm going to use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then you can establish keywords. So in this case, GE is the keyword that I would use. And then you can add people. Now here we have an individual, Beth Comstock, who is the GE CMO. Beth Comstock is very active in social media. Here's the GE corporate account. You notice it's an Instagram account. But they also have multiple corporate accounts for aviation, capital, Australia, Capital Aviation, Healthcare, India, their public affairs, and then their CEO, Jeff Elmick, also has a personal Twitter account. To show you how easy it is to add and subtract individuals or people from your routine, what I'm going to do is take out the GE corporate account. You notice I use the slider on the right-hand side of the screen, and then we'll search for that corporate account. And so I'm putting in GE. We see those people who have, and organization accounts that have already been added to the routine. But here's GE. This is the one I had just deleted, but we're going to add it back in. And there it is. It's part of the routine. And now all I have to do is save it. And now I have that routine will pull across all of my social networks for any keyword GE or any of the corporate accounts that then make posts into those social networks, all of which I follow.
It's 3:15.
Okay, so here next, what I'd like to do is show you how routines are actually used. I'm just going to use a couple of my personal interests. I'm going to start with one that should be common to all of us, my family. You know, one of the problems with our family post in social is that you have to get through the post for all of your colleagues and the advertising, everything else on Facebook or wherever else you might follow your family. For me, I have about 110 people who I follow on Facebook, but of those 65 are family members, but they only post about 14% of my total Facebook posts. But those 14% are probably the most important posts or the most meaningful posts to me. So those are the ones I want to see. And so here I have in-laws, sister-in-laws, my sister, nephew, another nephew, another sister-in-law, another sister, my cousins. And you can see I can stay very current, and all I'm getting is the posts from my family members. Isn't that cool? It really makes life a lot easier. Next, I'll show you just an area of personal interest, which I like to stay very current in the weather. Many of us do, especially after this winter. And here I've got a routine set up for the weather. In this routine, I have about 25 weather media properties, all of whom have very active feeds across the various social networks. So for instance, here's a post by WeatherBug, Weather Nation, NASA Hurricane, the Capital Weather Gang, DC, BBC Weather, the Weather Channel, and they're making posts that are not only textual, but they also are linking into interesting stories in currency and the weather. And you get the idea there. But see how great that looks? It's just absolutely spectacular. It's a way to get very current, and within a matter of minutes, I can be very current in current weather conditions just by going into that routine. Now I'd like to show you a couple of business routines. First of all, I'm very active in professional research. I have two routines there that are very helpful to me personally. One is my network scientist routine, and the other is my favorite authors. So I'm very active in social research, and I follow not only specific network scientists, but also organizations like the Pew Internet Research Center and also the Berkman Center. But these are individuals who are setting a lot of the most current research in the social network and network science area. Ray Wang's out of Constellation, Steve Rubel, most of us know. There's the Pew Research Center, which also posts most of its research to the social networks. You get the idea. Also, with the favorite authors, I do a lot of deep reading, so I go across probably close to 100 authors. And what this routine does is provides me a way to connect with those authors, but also to stay current with and follow those authors as they're going into the future. So I learn about new books that are coming out or things they may otherwise author, or where they're speaking in the future. And generally it just keeps me current going forward, especially if I like the author. Judith Glaser just wrote wonderful work on conversational intelligence. Nassim Taleb is obviously prediction. Clay Johnson is information. Adam Grant just wrote a highly recommended book, Give and Take, which I've read several times. But again, you get the idea. These are all leaders within the industry who have authored something that I've read cover to cover, in several cases twice, and then I just stay current with them. And if they're speaking, I'll sometimes make an effort to go and see them. I'll show you some of the other ways that I use Sparksfly in these routines. There are virtually no limits. The only limit to how to set these routines up is your imagination. So I follow main government agencies. I can follow prospects if I'm doing competitive or business research on companies that I'll be talking to in the future. You can follow the White House. I have an educational routine, a travel routine, which is comprised of all the various travel magazines. I have a routine for dormant ties, where basically I try to stay current with people that I might have otherwise lost touch with, and at least be aware of what they're doing. I have retail routines for some of my favorite brands. My community of 150 friends, alumni from companies I've worked with in the past. You get the sense of just what kind of breadth you can actually achieve using these routines, and how efficient and quick it is to do it. I follow the tech press. I also use the routines for events. So for instance, in the case of South by Southwest, I couldn't be there this year, but I set up a routine. I used the keyword South by Southwest, and then I followed individuals that I knew were going to be there within my networks. And I also followed the event sites and then the tech press that was writing articles about South by Southwest. So it was very cool. I learned a bunch. I was able to stay very current as South by Southwest was unfolding. And I've actually been able to follow a lot of what's been written about South by Southwest after the event itself. So you can get a sense of the breadth of routines and the variety of routines that you can set up to match your personal and business interests. This is a great tool. It's available in both the Google Play Store and in Apple App Store, and I'd strongly encourage you to download it and share your experience and some of the routines that you've put together that make your life better. Hey, thank you.